I don't think there was a specific moment. There was probably several accumulative ideas. The last 3 plays I've been writing have been all to do with sort of a parent-child politics issue. And recently, I guess, well, as with everybody, I've been a bit disturbed about school shootings and wondering why they happen. And each time a school shooting happens, the fingers get pointed in different directions. And so I wanted to play with that idea on paper and sort of see if those fingers were being pointed justly, or whether that was just a knee-jerk reaction. So anytime I write about something, it's usually something I don't quite understand what the answer is to it. So I just kind of sort it out on paper. I just did some reading. Writing it made me recall a pretty disturbing, not annoying movie called Elephant by Gus Van Sant that I watched. I talked to my 17-year-old niece. I talked to a couple high school teachers about the current lockdown drills that they have in the schools now, and they have all sorts of different scenarios for lockdowns, if a shooter comes in from the outside or if a shooter's already in the building. All of it extremely disturbing. And I just started sort of noodling around with these ideas on paper and put a bunch of characters in a situation, and I didn't know where I was going when I started it. I just started it, and this is what came out. It's working with Andrea on a play is just a terrific experience, partly because it's our 5th that we've done together, and they are all new plays that we started together, and so she's been early on part of the dramaturgical process. As soon as I have an idea in my head, she and I usually talk about it, and so she knows where the piece is going before it's even started and has an inkling of what is in my head. So there's not that clumsy beginning of rehearsal where we're both trying to get on the same page, where she might be taking off on a tangent that I don't sort of agree with for the play, because she and I have been in agreement since the first day. And it's we've refined that process over the 8-10 years that we've worked together to a point where she is sort of actively dramaturgically working with me from the first day to the final day. And it gives me a great deal of confidence and relaxation in rehearsal, knowing that I'm not just handing a play off to a director who doesn't know where I started with it. And it's proven to be extremely valuable because when Andrea is directing, I rarely am worried or nervous on an opening night. Yeah, the studio space is an interesting space. It's unfortunately all 4 plays that I've had down there, we've used the same formation of the space, which was a little more of a proscenium orientation, just because the plays called for. Actually, not Ordinary Nation. We used an arena style. I like it when we can break that space up. I prefer that space over the main stage, I guess, because I like seeing theater in close proximity. The space presents its problems, of course, because it is an adjustable space, and it's small, and sometimes we wish we had more seats or longer runs. But in terms of seeing a play in a space, I much prefer to be in that space than a larger theater. I just like the intimacy for theater. Evie's she's a 16-year-old young lady with some damage about her. Father who left, raised by single mother. She acts out a great deal. She's got a sort of mild political agenda in her head that Danny and she have formulated together as sort of a protection of themselves. She's got a huge heart. She hides it under calluses. She's relatively active and very much loves Danny, who is when you said 3 or 4 characters, Danny's the offstage character who doesn't quite enter into the play. The parents, not Evie's parents, but they're Danny's parents. Gloria is a 40-ish woman. She's educated. She has a certain kind of verbal acumen about her. She's smart, she's witty. She also has been a little bit worn down by behavior of her son. Has a little bit, not a lot of bitterness, but some bitterness and some angst about it. There's a tendency or a feeling of Gloria's at many times throwing up her hands when it comes to her son. The husband, Clay, is a hugely generous spirit. He's a pacifist, but in a way, as a father, in the good sense. He wants to listen to his father. He's far more patient and wants to give his son a great deal more rein. But he's the doer in the family. He's the one who takes charge of the meals, takes charge of the barbecue, takes charge of setting up a family meeting with their son and wife, and has a great deal more patience. And consequently, as that dynamic hits those two parents, one loses great patience with the other quite often. I do. As I said earlier, that most of the things that I write are explorations on my part, and they aren't explorations of things where I make a conclusion. Who would I be to say this is why these things happen? I think that it's an unfortunate convergence of unfortunate circumstances that create these situations. At the end of the play, you have the option of what to do. I don't want to give away the ending, but there is an ending of the play that leaves the play open to discussion. And I think I wrote the play to have a discussion between myself and the page, and I hope to leave the play where a discussion perhaps occurs between the presentation of the play and the aftermath with the audience.